The 2025 Junior Gold Championships are right around the corner, and here's everything you need to know about what bowling balls you should bring to the tournament. The Junior Gold Championships are one of the largest, if not the largest, youth tournament in the world. This is a multi-day event. I believe it's 8 days this year, and it is just bowling everywhere and anywhere. There are professionals that come to check it out. There are colleges all over the place. College coaches are everywhere in all of the bowling centers, and there are tons and tons of bowlers. This event is split up into many different divisions. There is a U12, U15, and U18 division, and then each of those divisions is separated into a boys and a girls category. This year, the tournament is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it's happening in 8 different bowling centers around Green Bay. That is one of the cool things with the event is it takes place at multiple bowling centers. You're not just stuck in one really big bowling center for the entire week. You're going across Green Bay and into surrounding suburbs to bowl your events. So in the U18 boys is where there's 4 different bowling centers being used, and then there's 1 to 2 bowling centers being used for the rest of the divisions. Now, the next coolest thing about this tournament is the oil patterns. There are 7 to 8 different oil patterns used from qualifying, where there's multiple patterns used, one at every different center you bowl at. And then also there's a new pattern for the advancers round. There's a new pattern for the TV show. There's new patterns all over the place. So one of the most difficult pieces with this tournament is making an arsenal. Now, the other interesting thing with this is that there is a ball limit rule for practice, because there is a full practice day on all of the different patterns that you'll be on. There, you can have whatever bowling balls you want. You can throw 40 bowling balls in practice for all they care. You can have as many in the building as you would like. However, when the tournament begins, you have to register 5 bowling balls. You can only use those 5 bowling balls for the entirety of the bowling event. That is the craziest part, because you are bowling on 7 to 8 different patterns. Like last year, for example, the patterns distances range from 37 feet up to 50 feet for one pattern. They go all over the place. So only having 5 bowling balls for all of those patterns makes it really, really difficult. So, to help you guys out, what we're going to do is make an arsenal for you, try to help you out, pick some different categories of bowling balls that you should bring to the event and ones that have had success in the past. So, we are going to start with our very, very first category, and that is going to be something basic. That is going to be something to shoot spares with. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a plastic ball. Some of you, this is going to be your urethane ball. Some of you don't even need that. Some of you can just open up your hand and flatten out your hand and be able to shoot spares that way. But the biggest thing, I highly, highly recommend that you focus on this spot in the bag the most. The most important thing for this event is spares. You don't want to be missing makeable spares, because there are so many bowlers. The cut lines are always razor, razor thin. So one spare could make or break your tournament. That could bump you up 15 places by missing a couple of spares. So spare shooting is going to be the most important thing, because all of the patterns are royally difficult at this tournament. They are all 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 ratio, maybe a 4-to-1 ratio if you're lucky. But the patterns are really, really difficult. So shooting spares is arguably the most important thing at this event. Let's go to ball number 2, and this one is going to be a urethane bowling ball, or a urethane-like bowling ball. These are very important because over the last 5 to 7 years of Junior Gold, it has turned into a urethane fest. Because you have such few options, urethane is always a great choice to be able to keep your ball in front of you. You're able to hit the pocket. You're able to play safer, because you don't want to be shooting 140 at this event. You want your low game to be 180. So urethane is really good at letting you hit the pocket a lot. Are you going to be able to average 250 with it? Maybe if you have a really high rev rate, but otherwise it doesn't have as high of an upside, but its low side is actually pretty okay at the end of the day. So some bowling balls that can fit in this slot are, of course, going to be the Purple Hammer. Now, this is a USBC tournament. You don't have to worry about PBA rules, so Purple Hammers are eligible unless you have too old of one. Make sure to check out USBC rules to know which Purple Hammers are not allowed. But Purple Hammer would be a great option. Pitch Black is going to be a really great option. Some other ones that you could go with: Tank Rampage Pearl for Motive. If you really want a Black Hammer, or if you really want to struggle, an IQ 78. I don't really recommend the 78 here. I'd recommend one of the other urethanes. Next ball up is going to be a strong asymmetrical solid ball. This is in our strong and smooth category, because a lot of the tournament is going to be on the fresh. or the nearly fresh. There isn't much that you're going to be on a super burn. So you really need to tackle these patterns when they are completely fresh, when they are as difficult as they can possibly be. So a big, strong ASIM solid is going to be a really good option if urethane isn't really in the cards and you need to play a little further left. This is going to be great for the longer patterns, for the heavier patterns. This is just going to be a really good game 1, 2, potentially game 3 bowling ball to be able to keep you from hitting the pocket a lot, because a lot of the angular bowling balls on sport shots are tough because they're just going to hook way too late, and you're going to leave a lot of 210 combos if you're a righty, or you're going to go through the face off of a move and leave big fours, where the big strong ASIMs don't do that. Now, some options for you in this category are going to be the Ion Max, the RST Hyperdrive, the Jackal Onyx, the Motive Evoke, the Brunswick Mesmerize, the Track Criterion, even the Hammer Black Widow 3.0, all can be great options for this spot. Now, for ball number 4, I always recommend some kind of shiny ball for later on in the day. I know I just mentioned that shiny balls can be very inconsistent, especially early in the day. Well, when those solid balls are hooking a little too early, you're going to want to go to something shiny. Also, something to keep in mind is we are in Wisconsin. The Midwest has very, very old lane surfaces, so you might need a pearl ball to be able to get through the front part of the lane and actually retain enough energy down lane. Because the lane panels are getting so old in the Green Bay area, that might be the best option for you. Now, Nick Hoagland, part of USBC, always does a fantastic job at accounting for this and putting out enough oil to warrant, depending on the lane surfaces. So should be okay, but otherwise, it would be a good game 4 and 5 bowling ball. I prefer a strong and sharp or a medium and sharp shiny bowling ball. There's a ton of options in this category. You're going to look at things like the Motive Evoke Hysteria, the Brunswick Vaporize, the Attention Star, the Storm Equinox, the Black Widow Mania, the Zen 25. There are tons of bowling balls in this strong and sharp and medium and sharp category that can work really, really well for you. So I recommend at least one shiny ball on this list just to be able to play the pattern when you get later on in the day. And finally, for ball number 5, I have 2 options here, and this one kind of has an asterisk to it. So I recommend either a medium and smooth bowling ball, things like a Phase 2, a Rockstar, Gamebreaker 5, Venom Shock, something that's going to be weaker than your big, strong ASIM solid ball that you can use right after it, but generally symmetrical is always a good idea. Stealth mode is a good example too. You'll be able to keep your ball in front of you a little bit, but it's going to hook a little bit later. And if you need to move deeper onto the lane, you can do that with this medium and smooth bowling ball. Otherwise in this list, I'd go a medium sharp bowling ball if you go with a strong and sharp ball. So you could go with, like I mentioned before, Zen 25, Scorpion Strike. You can go Primal Rage. Any kind of stronger symmetrical pearl ball could also work in this slot. Now, the reason there's an asterisk is I highly recommend this 5th slot you choose based on how the practice session goes. I recommend bringing more bowling balls to the practice session. I'd recommend bringing a medium smooth and a medium sharp bowling ball and then test them, compare them, see how they roll in the bowling center. Some bowling centers do really well with pearl bowling balls. Some do better with solids. And since you're in so many different situations, so many different bowling centers, I recommend checking out the practice sessions, see how the balls roll there, and then make your 5th choice based on what you see and what you think on the lanes. This is arguably one of the toughest tournaments of the year because you only get 5 bowling balls on so many different conditions, so many different patterns, and so many different lane surfaces. So being able to pick your 5 arsenal is going to be very, very important for being able to succeed at Junior Gold. Now, I mentioned 5 bowling balls with a couple kind of asterisks in there. Remember, for the plastic ball that you use or the ball you shoot spares with, if this isn't a plastic ball, you can fill it with another one that I mentioned on the list so you can have a more well-rounded arsenal. Weak bowling balls, I generally stay away from. You don't bowl enough on this pattern to beat it up enough to warrant having hustles or tropical surges or vibes or things like that. You don't need balls that weak. Now, a Max Thrill might have a spot. Those are really strong, but weak bowling balls. That could work. Ion Pro IQ Tour could have a really good spot and make that seem like a medium and smooth bowling ball fitted into that category, and it could work pretty well. There's a ton of good options. The big thing I recommend is don't bring two balls that are very similar. Don't bring two different labeled IQs. Don't bring two bowling balls that fit in the medium smooth slot or the medium sharp category. Bring a big variety. That's going to be the most important piece. You don't want to get handcuffed in game 3 and realize, man, my ball reaction stinks. I can only shoot 160 with this for the rest of the day. You don't want that to happen. So remember, always have a big, broad range of bowling balls that can do different things on different situations. But with that, I hope you guys do really well at Junior Gold this year. Good luck out there. I might be out there for a little bit, doing a little bit of a meet and greet or just hanging out. We're going to see. We'll see how everything goes. So you might see me out there. If you have other Junior Gold questions, please let me know down below in the comments. I will answer any and every Junior Gold question you guys have. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.